Yo, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. I just unmuted you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. All right. Okay.
Ready to go. A billion questions.
Yes, sir. I don't know why it says starting soon, though.
That's okay. For where?
Oh, it's live. Yeah,
Oh, we're
that's so
live.
weird.
No, we're live. No, we're live, man. You want to just jump in?
Yeah,
All right,
it
let's go.
says, hey, everybody. It says it's, for some
I didn't
reason
yet.
on
We're
my
not in
screen,
the
it's
stage
showing
yet. We're
starting
not in the
soon.
stage yet, Mike.
Is that why?
1 second, man. We're not in the stage. 1 second here. 1
Gotcha.
second. Let's turn this off. And there we
There we
go.
go.
There we
All
go.
right.
Oh, even better. Look at that. Technology. Figuring
Look at
out how
that.
to do these things.
We got the overlay going. We're
Oh,
professionals, everybody. If
I'm
you're watching us
I was
fumble
really
around.
surprised when I logged in and saw that. I'm not gonna lie. I was
Woo.
like, "Oh man, this guy went pro."
That's it. This overlay here for everybody watching. This was my good friend Claude put this together for me.
Claude's so good. AI is so good. But welcome everybody. So this is our first one we're doing, all things AI and cloud. We're going to be talking about anything related, what we're seeing, what's happening in the market, what our customers are talking to us about. So feel free to kind of comment or ask questions. And for sure, as we build up this and continue doing this weekly or bi-weekly, if there's any requests of us to show things, demo things, I think we should make it happen. But quick introductions. My name is Sebastian Maniac. I'll be your host with Michael. And Michael, why don't you give an introduction about yourself so you can know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an architect at Solo. I'm pretty much working on all things AI. I spend a lot of time working with customers on implementations, on getting their architecture ready, overall design, right, and then just figuring out how to get this whole AI thing into production, because this is new for everybody. It's new for all of us. Where nobody's an expert yet. So.
No, 100%, and it's I feel like it's moving so fast.
Yep.
Like just wild. Like I know I'm at the speed of just like wildness, doing the crazy stuff that I'm doing with Open Cloud or with Agent Gateway or protecting things itself.
Yeah, it's moving so fast, and it's also incredibly interesting because the trajectory at which AI is going is, in my opinion, not like any other cycles we have seen with new technology. So, like, the two things that pop out to me are, number one, typically it takes the enterprise, 2 to 5 years to like adopt something like new, right? I think with Kubernetes, even it was like maybe 3 years, 4 years, like before we kind of started to see it more and more mainstream. But with AI, it just seems like it's like happening like exponentially faster, right? Like everything's just quick. And then the other thing too is like the three sectors that are usually pretty slow to adopt AI are financial institutions, healthcare, and government. And they seem to be the ones that are going the fastest.
Isn't that wild? Like, I find that very interesting. I'd expect, like, I get the SMBs and the small businesses, they're doing what they're doing. But having so many conversations with the banks, the financials, especially around like Agent Gateway and protecting their LLMs, protecting their MCP tools, because we know that, like, us being hands-on dev guys, like if I worked at a bank or an enterprise, I'm installing tons of MCP tools as fast as I can to help me, and I will find workarounds for sure to get my work done. And I think I'm seeing our customers like, oh, we got this shadow MCP, the shadow AI happening right now. Because there's no governance. It's kind of like a wild west of what shadow cloud was and that we had a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
And there's companies that are failing in that too, like this production gap of knowledge. Because now you have to understand this networking or context networking. You got to understand what runtime you're going to put it in. And now you have 4 or 5 different teams. You got an AI team, a platform team. Well, what platform are you going to put these things on? Like, are you going to run it locally? Are you going to run it Kubernetes? You're going to run it in some cloud service. It's moving fast, and I love it. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think the other thing too is like, and just to set the stage for everybody, because there's a fair amount of people in here at this point. I'm looking at my LinkedIn, and then I'm also looking at everybody within StreamYard. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. I have the comment section open here, so I can answer them live. Sebastian can answer them live. We're streaming across LinkedIn, X, YouTube. So definitely feel free to jump in, ask any questions that you want. We'll answer them. And then to set the stage for like what the ideal situation is that Sebastian and I are on like probably like more than 40 customer calls a week. And this is everything from like we're in the discovery phase of like, hey, like what are y'all trying to do, to like, okay, like you're implementing now, like how can we help you, and what tools do you need, and you know what phases of the implementation do you actually need here. So really it's like what we're seeing, like we're at the forefront of it, and it's awesome, right? And what we're seeing is every organization, from again like healthcare, governments, um, financial institutions, to like everybody else, like software vendors, like various retail companies, like everybody, you know. And it's interesting too, because like to think about the couple of things that we were just talking about, and then also the other thing that I think about often is usually in these cycles you have like a product or a tool or whatever platform, and like it's geared towards some team, right? So it's like the platform engineering team, or like the security team, or like the DevOps team, or whatever. Like the the implementation, the product, the category, I think category is the right word. The category of what you're doing is usually geared towards a particular team. For AI, it's like we're talking to the ML ops teams, we're talking to the data science teams, we're talking to the platform engineering teams, we're talking to the security teams. It's like there's no cut and dry approach to this, right? And I think that's why talking about like what we're seeing in the field on like the top 10 things or 15 things that are constantly being asked from every team, right, across every type of organization, I think it's drastically important to talk about. So.
And what are you seeing? Like the big things I'm seeing from a cloud, well, from an AI perspective, is how do we policy things?
Yep.
And what is, or what's most likely an AI breach that we're going to have?
Yep.
Be it what kind of breaches that we're getting asked. Tool misuse is huge, right?
Right.
Credential exfil, prompt injection, and even supply chain, right? Those are big things. Like I'm, knock on wood, but I'm hoping we don't get there. But with all the OpenClaw and all this AI stuff, we're going to probably see a breach sooner than later. I'm sure we've already had them, but they haven't been announced, where that tool misuse has done stuff. Like you've seen it probably on Reddit and things.
Yep.
And my database was deleted because I asked my LLM, right?
Yeah. And I think like that's the breach that we will see. And I'm gonna go back and answer that question in terms of like what are the top things that I'm seeing. And I put together a doc for it as well, so I didn't forget. But like the breaches, I think that we're seeing right now, like we're 1000% going to see security breaches for sure. Like I have zero like question about that. But the breaches that we're seeing right now are more to your point of like my database was deleted, right? Or like I don't know if you saw on Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, the other day, where it was like the one compliance person or something, like all the emails got deleted, like all of her emails
really?
got deleted from like OpenClaw or something. Yeah, it was like a big thing.
Was that the Meta person? Or
that
another one where they ran back to turn off OpenClaw?
Yeah. Like that's the type of breaches we're seeing. So like breaches historically have been about like, oh, this bad person wants to get into my system, but now it's like my system is getting into my
my system's getting into my system. But then you got to policy those things, right? Like how now we got to think of not only cloud access, a user access, now an agent access, and what that agent can do itself. 100%. Right. So it's another layer of policies. And I know like Christian's been posting tons of amazing stuff on that, in that space. So shout out to him, because he's doing some cool. I actually have a little, he built this awesome what's it called? He's got a great blog, how to auth SaaS and MCP through kind of Agent Gateway, which is super cool. But that's exactly literally all the conversations, right? We get it. We're it's going to happen. We need to kind of protect those things itself.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and to that point, like so what I did was I kind of had an idea of like the top 5 or 10 things that I'm seeing, right? Because again, it's almost like, and it's ironic too, because it's so new, but it's almost like the same conversation over and over again, right? Like people are asking for the same stuff, which makes sense. And it doesn't matter what type of organization it is.
What is it like?
Yeah. So I put together my list, but then also what I did was I used one of our internal tools to like go through like just about every call and then ask it with AI, like, what are the top 10 things that you're seeing here? Like, what do people care about? And I did this through like thousands of calls. And what it came down to was AI security, so prompt guarding and egress control, AI gateways and centralized access control. So a lot of security stuff, multi-agent systems, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Like, are we even there yet? Is the autonomous agent thing like plausible right now? MCP as the standard, and then tool invocation and federated access control around like MCP server tools. And then there were a couple of other things like, your inference routing and your caching, which are all important, observability, cost control, all that. But like the top 5 things I would say are very much around how do I secure this thing?
Auth N and Auth Z, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And this is stuff that we've seen like forever. Like it's not new conceptually, but it is new in the way that we're thinking about it in terms of AI. So like, for example, like something that we're constantly talking about is everything around OAuth, right? Like, are you doing OIDC based OAuth? Are you doing some type of SSO? Are you doing on behalf of, right? And this is all very important because there's so many different parts. Like there is the user, there is the agent, there is the what the user can do, there is the what the agent can do, and then it's what agent can connect to what LLM, what agent can connect to what MCP server. Once it's connected to the MCP server, what MCP server tools are available. Like there are multiple hops of authentication and authorization here. And everybody's asking about it and everybody's asking for it. Like when it comes to Agent Gateway, it's like everybody's asking for the implementation details of how they can do this. And this is across any team. And like, we all know security is important, of course, but like security is also one of those things that are often looked at as the back burner, right? Like people want to go and implement the thing. They don't want to think about like what their compliance needs are.
Describing
right?
Me. Cowboys.
But in the world of AI, it seems like that's backwards too. Like it seems like the first question, and it doesn't matter if it's the ML ops team, if it's the data science team, if it's the platform engineering team, almost the immediate first question is how do I secure this thing? So yeah, a lot of stuff, like a lot of the cycles that we've seen over the years with new technology, we're backwards in terms of like what was important then versus what's important now during these cycles. It's it's interesting.
So what other stuff like what interests are you seeing within, or like even what we're doing like with Agent Gateway? We're doing a lot of cool things, and securing it. Are you running these in your labs? Are you deploying them? You played with, I know you played with OpenCloud for a little bit, right? And Cloud Code, of course, right?
Yeah, so I would say like my major provider right now is Claude. My buddy Eric Wright from GTM Delta, great company if you need anybody around like content creation and all that stuff and product marketing. Very, very good folks over there. He's been talking to me a lot about Codex. He keeps sending me stuff about Codex and I keep trying it, but it's like for some reason I'm just so used to Claude, I guess. It's almost like I know Claude's personality at this point, and I know the way that it works. Yeah, like versus Codex. Like I think Codex is good, but like I created a YouTube video about this where like I took the same prompt, right, and I didn't have any like agent skills or no like Claude MD or anything like that. I literally just like took the same prompt and I was like, do this, right? And how Claude did it versus how Codex did it was drastically different. And I prefer the way Claude did it. In terms of your question about OpenClaw, like for me, I think OpenClaw, and you correct me if I'm wrong. You're like, I don't know.
Man.
All I know
But
is this guy
I'm
has
using
OpenClaw
Codex.
responding to me.
I'm using now Codex and GPT-5 in OpenClaw.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I moved from Claude and I'm using
yeah,
Codex to do coding
yeah,
in
yeah,
my OpenClaw. Opus 4.6 from Claude only does specific tasks,
yeah,
but exactly to your point there. But anything I deploy with that platform or OpenClaw, I secure it. Like
yeah,
I've seen all the YouTube stuff. I've seen the things. Memory is a big issue. You have to figure out how to do that.
yep,
Security for me is a big issue because I do give it access to my personal email. I don't give it access to any API keys.
yep,
That's the one thing I'm against is giving API key access to anybody. I have
yep,
to auth to Azure as that's my Entra setup there. I auth there. I have on behalf of for my MCP tools that are behind Agent Gateway, my LLM provider behind Agent Gateway. So I kind of create this kill switch. I want to have a kill switch or this doom switch, whatever you want to call it.
yep,
But the power of it having access to my tools is super fun. Number one,
yep,
it's so fun. And using Codex, I'm using Codex more with it than I was using with Clocks. I actually find it makes a little bit less mistakes sometimes with Codex when I'm writing code. I don't know, but it could be how I'm prompting it, how I'm planning things
yep.
inside the platform.
So that's a good point, and I want to talk about that. But I also want to talk about the whole idea around OpenClaw as well. Like so conceptually, right? Because I think I always look at things more from like the engineering perspective versus like the new and shiny. And like in the thing that gets me excited is like, how can I go and solve a problem with this versus like new and shiny. OpenClaw. So OpenClaw conceptually is just a client, right? Like that's all it is. It is a client. It is no different than any other client that you're connecting to whatever LLM provider you want to use. The key difference for me is I'm still I guess I'm old school, right? Where like I still want to like look at the code.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to look at the code,
prove it,
right? Like you have to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
And like I like being on the terminal. You know what I mean? Like I think it's cool as like a personal assistant to like use WhatsApp or whatever to say like, hey, do this for me or send this for me or whatever. But like I still want to be like in front of my terminal looking at what the thing is. Now I know like OpenClaw has a terminal and stuff as well. However, what I will say is, and I know we talked about this.
You don't want to touch grass and just code, or
no, I don't want to touch grass. I'm not interested in that. I just want to sit in my office as long as I possibly can. But the client that you use makes your experience drastically different. And I'm gonna give you an example of this that I literally just hit yesterday or the day before. So I use VS Code. That is my editor of choice. I always used the VS Code extension, the Claude Code VS Code extension, right? And for whatever reason, two things I noticed. Number one, it always screwed up my request. Number two, the context. It was like, dude, I had like 3 prompts until it's like you're at 80% context. I'm like, yo, this isn't right. Like this isn't making any sense. So then I said, you know what? I'm going to close this. I'm not going to use this extension anymore. And just in one of my VS Code terminals, I just go into the Claude Code CLI and I open it and I run it that way. And it is a drastic difference in how how Opus operates just using Claude Code CLI versus using the Claude Code extension of VS Code. And this is the same across OpenClaw. This is the same across OpenCode. This is the same across Goose. It doesn't matter what model you're using. you can use the same model across all these clients, and I promise you, you will get a different result. And I say all that to say, like, definitely test out with your model of choice, test out the best way to utilize it. Like, I still need to do that for Codex. Again, I got a bunch of people that are like, yo, you should switch to Codex. And I'm like, no, but I need to like give it a go for sure.
No, you're 100% right, but it's just about making it predictable. Like there's ways
Yeah.
of doing it,
Yep.
right? And like there's ways of enforcing that, like that
Totally.
the prompt, how it responds, how it does things. And now, of
Yep.
course, with skills, right? Having skills, capability to create those,
Yep.
which you still have to be careful because please don't download skills off the internet. I'm sorry, don't do that.
Yeah.
I've downloaded 4 or 5 skills on purpose. I wanted ones that have prompt injection in it. I actually looked through them. I'm like, all right, this looks like a cool little skill that talks to GitHub and does stuff.
Yeah.
But I knew there was a prompt injection just from a test perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, can you do this in my repo? It literally started to delete things in my repo and started looking for keys, API keys, or other ways to get access into my system, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty neat. But you have to like watch for that stuff. And that's like this next, space in the security space that we have to really focus on.
Well, now
and especially like talking about banks, right? You have to home in, hey, you're an agent that does loans. Here is the actual limit of what you can do, what you can set. And if not, put a human in the loop. Because we can't have, accidentally Michael sends Seb million USD, right?
It's entirely possible. I don't know what account it's going to come from. It's not going to come from mine, but but like, yeah, I mean, and this is where the transition begins to occur, because like there was a long time where people were like prompt engineering this and prompt engineering that, and it's still there, but like now we're getting into this idea of like context engineering, right? Where it's like what you are putting together in your tools and what's being sent through the context and what conversation is going back and forth between you and the agent, or the agent to the agent, right? Like that matters.
And logging that matters. I need to know.
100%.
Like I can't, like me, doing stuff in my home lab, whatever, just go nuts. But in the enterprise, like sometimes I look at what's happening, I'm like, oh, I'm scared of AI. I'm excited and scared because, if some rogue agent does something at a bank and all of a sudden, my mortgage doubles or all my money's gone, I'm like, oh, wow. And they don't have a log or a way to get to it. That's scary. And they're seeing that too, right? Like you mentioned, a lot of those
totally. And
conversations that we're having.
That's why it's so important to like use whatever AI gateway you're going with. It is so drastically important to ensure that you have the ability to capture those metrics and those traces and the logs as well. Like logs are obviously, of course, very, very important, but like the main thing in my opinion are the traces. Like, where is this thing going? Right? Like if we're thinking about the traditional observability of like what is a trace? A trace is end-to-end application health. But now it's like the trace is not about just the health and the performance, it's about where is this thing going? Like what is it pointing to? What MCP server tools is it accessing? And what is it doing? Is it doing a get? Is it doing a post? What is the action that is being performed here? So yeah, I mean, to your point, it's so like and it doesn't matter even like I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and he works at a 3-letter agency, and he was like, dude, like how do I observe this traffic? And I'm like, well, like you need to understand that there is a tunnel, right? And you need to get from point A to point B. And point A is usually an agent, and point B is an LLM or an agent or an MCP server, like whatever you're hitting, right? And this tunnel, this line of communication, like this is going to be your AI gateway. And you need to ensure that you're picking something that can capture the metrics that you need to capture, can capture the traces that you need to trace, and gives you a method of actually being able to look at them, right? Like with Agent Gateway, We can use hotel collectors for logs, traces, metrics. We can put them into like whatever monitoring and observability tool you're using, whether it's Grafana and Prometheus, whether it's Datadog, like whatever, it doesn't matter. And then you then have the ability to at least see like what is going on within your environment, all the way down to token usage. I mean, like it gets so low level in terms of like what we need to think about and what we need to care about. Like, you know this, you're on these conversations too, where it's like, how do I observe my tokens? Right. And it's like, yeah, it's a great question. Like, how do you observe, like, what's a token in your case? Right. Like if you put together the word can't, right? CAN is one token, apostrophe T is a second token, even though it's one word, it's two tokens. So you need to have the ability for your gateway to get real granular in terms of like what's actually happening on that tunnel.
So you're going to see a lot of, I would assume, and we've talked about this from on-prem to cloud, like the amount of data we get is got to be not just exponential. It's got to be like this. It's going to happen in the next, year or two. Like 100%. The amount of logs I'm going to have to capture, like I'm going to need a big back end to store everything, especially if, from compliance perspective and stuff like that.
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, and that's why like like I said, like the top 5 things that come up in different ways from customers, but it's like, and this is real world stuff, everybody. So like, we're not just like making this up like on the fly and saying like, these are the things that matter. Like, this is the stuff that we're hearing day in and day out, 5 days a week. Like, this is what we're hearing. The top 5 things are all around security, all around observability, and all around cost optimization. This is what people care about right now. And then there's, the things like your inference speeds and your semantic caching, and you're like, what can this agent do, and what can it connect to, and all these things, right? But I would say all those things are like a lot of it, like long-term memory, short-term memory, like all these things are table stakes, right? Like, this is the expectation for what your agentic provider can do for you, right? So those are the table stakes. But everything around observability, cost optimization, and securing everything from the user to the agent to what destination they're hitting and how you're securing it. I mean, these are things we're hearing all the time. Like, this is what we're hearing.
So how do you, I learn by doing a lot of things and watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. Reading books about it, books kind of get outdated. You got to read them quickly because things are happening fast, but the fundamentals are still there. Right. What do you do? Like, I'm just going to post this because, Christian and Lynn wrote an awesome book, AI Agents and Kubernetes. So definitely check it out on the solo.io website. But how are you consuming content for, to understand the new stuff that's happening? I get the fundamentals will be there. Once you get the fundamentals, it's there, but it's the new content.
So I would say like, I probably take like a 3-step approach. The first is like, if I want to just understand what's going on at a high level, like that's probably where like podcasts come into play. Like, I listen to like a lot of Lex Friedman. I started. Say that again.
You had a great one with Peter from OpenClaw.
Yeah. I just started listening to the Programmatic Engineer. That's a good one. There's a lot of AI stuff there. So like a lot of like the what's going on in the world and what are people thinking about. I listen to podcasts, and then when I'm gonna go and like do something and figure something out and dive into something, it's really more about being hands-on keyboard for me. Like I don't know why my brain works this way, but I'm the type of person that, like, I can read something 10 times and I don't know what is going on. But the second I like take it and I like put my hands on the keyboard and I start doing what the content is telling me, then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
You got to follow that process. I'm more of a drawer. I got to draw it. Okay, here's the flow. Because when I was taught in school, and even the program I teach, it's literally fundamentals. When I first looked at TCP, I'm like, well, how does A go to B? All right, I got to understand TCP. If I dive into BGP, well, how are these routes being propagated. Now I got to understand it. So I always have to look at the packet. I always,
Yep.
TCP for so many years has been my like the best probably tool app I've ever used in my life,
Yep.
because it will explain to me everything that's
Yep.
happening inside the
Exactly.
network. And even now, like looking at logs, looking at packet captures,
Yep.
especially with AI, you got to look at kind of what's in the context layer. So you need that observability, or that higher level layer
Yep.
of what's being sent. It's
Yeah.
super important.
Totally. I'm 100% the same way. It's like, that's why, like, you've said to me, like, hey, do you know where the doc is for this? And I'm like, no, but like, I know where the code base is, and I'll just like send you the GitHub link. I'm
Yeah,
like, that's like how
exactly.
I learn. I'm like, this is the code that's doing this thing. Yeah, capture those resources for listening. I learn by listening best too. Yeah, and I think that it all, like, and this may sound weird as well, but like, it also sounds like the situation. I'm sorry, it depends on the situation that you're currently in. So, like, for example, I work out in the morning, I lift, and then I'll do either like 15 to 30 minutes of like being on the bike. So in that time frame, what I do is like I bring my iPad, because my gym is like in my building, so I don't have to like carry stuff around really. So I bring my iPad, and while I'm on the bike, like, that's when I get my reading in. But if I'm like sitting on the couch and I'm trying to get my reading in, like, sometimes I can, but it's also like I got a million and one things going on in my head. So to this point of like, I learn best by listening to, I absolutely do as well, just based on like where I am. Like, if I'm in the car, like, it's great for podcasts, right? Or like I'm getting ready in the morning, that's great for podcasts, right? Like, throw on a podcast, put my AirPod in while I'm, getting ready for my day and stuff.
Do you ever chat with your AI? Like, I will probably at least 45 minutes a day. We'll have a full-blown conversation with like Grok or with Claude Audio. Like, I think Grok Audio got a little better than all the other ones, but I'm like, hey, explain me this protocol, explain me this. And if I go for a walk or something, or just touch grass, because I like to touch grass, how we say, and then look at my phone, but try to take my phone away and just have a conversation with an AI. Like, I do it a lot. And I'm like, hey, explain me this protocol. Explain me, like, I'll actually even ask it, like, I asked it for this podcast. I'm like, all right, what are like ambient meshes going to 1.29? Or Asian gateways going to version 1.0, right? And I'm like, just read me the actual release files and let's have a conversation about it. And that's how I'm kind of interacting, because I don't want to look at the screen. I want to kind of just chat with it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. To a certain extent, like, I will. So it's funny. I'll ask random questions about like things that aren't tech related, like best workouts for certain things, or like whatever, right? And it's funny because I have like the Anthropic app on my phone, and I'll be talking to it, and it's almost like my brain transitions me into talking to it like a person.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's real weird. It's
a little weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, and honestly, like, I think everything like AI related as well. Like, it's wild how much you can learn on a particular topic with AI, right? Like, versus Googling. Like, if you're in like conversation mode, it's way easier to consume that information in comparison to like going and Googling something.
It's interesting, right? Like, we were driving with the family this week, and I have no idea, for some reason in my head, I'm like, when does Zipper created? Like, I had and why was it for? I just popped into my head. I'm like, and the zipper, because my son was having problems zipping up his jacket, and then I'm just like 5 minutes, I'm like, I wonder why they created a zipper and for what purpose. And I'm like, it must have been a jacket. But do you know what it was for? Why the zipper was created?
Why?
For shoes. The first use case for zipper was to your boots, to kind of zip up your boots and your shoes.
Yeah. What did people have?
I have random conversations with my AI nonstop.
Yeah. What was it before zippers? What did people have?
Like buttons, shoelaces.
Yeah. Huh.
Right.
Yeah. There's a couple of situations there where that could be cumbersome to have a bunch of buttons like that. So So yeah, I actually, so what I did the other day was I got like my yearly blood work done or whatever, and I fed it in to Anthropic, and I was like,
Mhm.
explain to me what is going on in my body right now. Uh, yeah, so like stuff like that, like I do that. People say you're not supposed to do it, but yeah, whatever. I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's interesting. Yeah, very cool. So yeah, I was, and by the way, for everybody that's on, we have a lot of people on right now. We have like about 30 people. So if there's anybody, if you have any questions or anything, throw them into the chat. We can answer them live. Like anything about like what we're seeing in production right now. Because
Even
again,
how to
like
get started.
yeah, even how to
Like,
get started, anything.
um,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, like just getting started, like, you know, hitting up agentgateway.dev or,
yeah,
you know, some of the blog sites we have, or especially if you're super interested, even if you're super new, we have a AI hackathon. Might as well throw this in here. So
yeah,
aihackathon.dev, we extended it till after KubeCon so we can get, you know, having more conversations with people.
yeah,
But this is not for, you know, we have different categories in here, not just professionals. If you're new into the space, if you're new into building, you know, submit something, put it on. You know, you'll get to have chats with us, with Kelsey, with Lynn, some amazing people in the field to kind of help you either build the app or build the service, build whatever you're looking to build. So yeah, definitely check aihackathon.dev. Um, what
so,
other news? Like I got a couple notes here I wrote about some of the
yeah,
things that we're doing in the ecosystem or in the space, especially around Agent Gateway. Um, like 1.0 alpha is already out, so to let everybody know. And I think in probably a week or something, it's going to go GA.
nice.
Um, but the key thing about this is we're gonna that's decoupling K gateway and kind of
Yep,
creating this unified version, right? So it's going to be awesome because the big story here is that, you know, from a platform lifecycle management, like when your AI gateway is tied to a different project version upgrades and stuff like that, uh, it's kind of odd to do it, but decoupling it and unifying it under one thing is going to be um, some fun stuff that we're going to see in the space, especially I think writing like pre-rerouting and policies into it, which is going to be great.
yeah. So this is a question that came in. I'm seeing
Mhm.
resistance to wanting to use AI and configuring the tools I work with. I'm guessing you're not seeing that. I or I'm guessing you're not saying that. So are you referring to? I'm going to answer your question with a question. Apologies. Are you referring to like at work? You're feeling the strain of people wanting to implement that stuff, or just like in general, like in daily life? Just out of curiosity. And while I wait for that question to come in, so or that answer to come in, I think this is a good topic. What's the thing in AI that's like confusing you the most? I have mine already. I already know what it is.
What's confusing me the most in AI?
Yeah, like what's like the thing that like you're like looking at like 35,000 times and you're like, I just can't wrap my head around. Like I can't fully understand what's going on.
Um, I'm trying to wrap my head around on how. So, say if I use anti gravity or if I use Claude on from a planning perspective,
Yeah.
how I can alter the plans a little better.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you know what? But session management, context size, and session management or memory management is the number one thing that I'm having issues with, and I'm trying to get it better. Like especially since I'm using OpenClaw, but just understanding how session and memory works,
Yep.
and how I can, because after that context window's open, right? It's if I start a new session, the thing is dead, right? It's like say if you have a whiteboard and you just fill in information or to dos on your whiteboard, eventually you're going to be out of space. That's literally how I see memory and then session management inside
Yeah.
of the LMs. But having a way to be able to make my agents remember what was in the past. Like right now, I have an LM that runs, and then every day it takes the top 10 memory things that it thinks the memory had and it puts it in a markdown file. And then next time I ask, it'll actually reference that file and then store that in a
Yeah.
vector database for me.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to get more in. How about
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Off. Man,
Wow.
dude, like, and I just gotta say, like, shout out to like John Howard and like Christian Posta for like
Mhm.
having to read and deal with like my probably stupid questions around auth, because like that I feel like a caveman when it comes to auth. Like it's just it's the topic that like, man, I keep looking at it and I'm like, it's not clicking yet. Like, and when I'm talking about auth, I'm talking about like the entire flow of like token exchange on behalf of everything around OAuth, everything around your token moving from point A to point B, like your token
Mhm.
traveling with you wherever you're going, right? Everything for authentication and authorization. Like conceptually, like I get it, but like sometimes I hear the things that are being talked about around everything OAuth related, and it's like, dude, I'm sitting there and I'm like, duh. Like I'm just like it's not like
You just got to
registering
implement it,
in my
try it
head.
out. Like and then you got to do it on all of them,
Yeah.
right? You got to play with Entra, you got
Yeah.
to play with Okta, you got to play with,
Right.
Auth0, and you got to play with Keycloak and,
Yep.
um,
Yeah, it's such a confusing it's such a confusing and hard topic to figure out like where your OAuth flow should be and how far it goes and what type of OAuth are you even using, right? Like what can
identity,
you
man.
do versus like what can you do versus what the agent can do? You're authenticating to the LLM, you're setting rate limits based on that user. They can only use X amount of tokens. Like, okay, now you're hitting an MCP server. Okay, who has access to this? How do you figure out who has access to this? Like,
Mhm.
how do you control the entire auth flow? And yeah, that's the thing for me, man. It's like I look at it so much and I'm in so many conversations about it, and like conceptually I think I get it, but yeah, that's the
Then
thing
there's
that
like a little, like, well, we're trying to do this little thing because everybody somehow does it differently, right?
exactly,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's you keep on talking to your AI, man,
I know,
and
man. That's it.
just build it, right?
And
Uh,
the funny thing is when I'm talking about auth auth z for something like with Kagent, like
mhm.
yeah, 100% I'm in it, right? Like I'm with it. But when it comes to like with like agent gateway, for example, like your token following you, right? Well,
Yeah.
I don't even know what the right verbiage is. Like going from point A to point B with you, like with whatever the request is, that's where I'm like, how's this working? Yeah. So this is a good topic that comes up.
That's a great topic. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so
I want to know
okay.
your opinion on this because I know you can feel my opinion.
Yeah. So like it's hard for me to say whether or not there's a lot of pushback. And the reason why is because I'm my title is AI architect, right? So like I am literally just doing AI stuff day in and day out. So like every conversation that I have, there is some preliminary step that has occurred that the organization has decided to implement AI in some capacity. So like I'm not seeing the pushback because like those are the conversations that I'm in. In terms of the industry as a whole, I mean it's like I think people are adopting it more and more. But what I will say is there is a shift in mindset that you need to have. Or at least like you should think about having. I don't want to tell anybody what they should and shouldn't do, but like I'll give you an example. Probably a year ago at this point, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, I was hanging out with my buddy Eric. I mentioned him earlier. We were having some steaks and we were having some wine. We were hanging out, and I was very, very against everything AI related when it comes to programming. And I was like, I don't think this is gonna like be the thing. I don't think that we should be doing this. Um, there's still maybe a part of me that feels like we need to take a step back a little bit, right? Because we may reach a point where, AI is doing the coding for us and then something breaks and nobody knows what to do because it was all vibe coded, right? But like that, whatever. So, but then I kind of came to realize like it's because I've identified or like my persona, my identity, whatever you want to call it, is around the idea of like I'm an engineer, right? Like I'm like doing the thing and I'm implementing the thing. And that's the thing that brings me joy in life, is like figuring out hard problems, hard technical problems. So having that be my mindset for the past 15 or so years, to now I'm like going in Claude Code and it's building stuff out for me. I think people are having a big issue with that mindset. And I think that's why there's maybe a lot of people giving pushback around this stuff. And I think that like, for everybody that's feeling that way, you just have to kind of shift your mind. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't have a choice, right? You have to, if you wanna stay in the game, you got to shift your mindset. It was hard for me. It's still hard for me. It is what it is. But like, we're no longer programmers. Like, we're now builders, right? Like, we're going in and we're building a thing. Maybe we're more system architects. Maybe we're more design people, right? Like whatever it is. But what I do know for sure is that our value is not going to come from writing code anymore. Of that, I am certain.
I agree with that. I've been using, well, I jumped on ChatGPT when it was GPT 2 and 3, like 4 or 5 years ago or something. I was trying to pull up my dates of like 1,000 something dates when I first signed up to ChatGPT. When it first went public, my students had an exam. I'm like, check this out. I threw your exam in the chat bot. It answered everything like 99%. I'm like, this will replace you if you don't learn it.
Right.
Like 4 years ago. We don't learn assembly language, right? I can't program assembly language. Well, I did when I first started the fundamentals, back in when I started school, but we don't look at that. That's compiled, right? Well, that's done. So now we're at the phase of code, I think, code, or there has to be human in the loop. You have to review it. You have to understand it. But, all the kind of podcasts, the books and the audio books that I'm reading is I believe we're going towards a notion where you're going to have a developer and then you're going to have a bucket of tokens, be it $500, $1,000 per day. You spend that token to build. And you're a builder now, like you said. Let the code do its thing, look at it, understand it, have the fundamentals. Because I could say, and I'd done this with, I was deploying AWS Agent Core with Agent Gateway. And I opened up OpenClaw and Cloud. I'm like, hey, can you set me up a demo? Here's my access to my repo. Here's access to AWS. Go make it happen. Built it. Beautiful. Built the whole document. It built the repo, built the code. I tested. Everything works good. And then I'm reviewing it and I'm like, wait a minute, you just threw 2 gateways in front of a gateway. I'm like, why did you do this? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Right? So if anybody's doing a POC or testing it, they wouldn't understand. They would see it. They're like, oh, okay, looks great. Passed. Let's move on. And then you look at your AWS bill and now you're paying for Agent Core Gateway and Agent Gateway deployed in the cluster. I'm like, well, no, I don't want that. Right. That's not the architecture I did. So I do have to understand those fundamentals on how I want things to work and carve it. But I think you have to use the tools. You have to use them or you're going to be behind. Because the people that are going to use the tools are just going to move forward. Right. But you have to understand it. Like you said, like it's.
Yeah. And I think that there's our level of understanding and what we're going to need to know is just going to go up a level. I think, like I'll give you an example. Like I don't foresee a future. Okay. So like, what is a programming language? A programming language is a tool that you use to talk to a computer. That's all it is, right? It is, you are telling the computer what you need it to do, right? Now underneath the hood, it's being translated right into your ones and zeros. So like, I'll give you an example. I don't foresee a future that programming languages matter. I think that either there will be an agent language, or like it's just, you're going to, in natural human language, you're going to tell your agent what you want and it's just going to perform the action in assembly, right? Like there's realistically no reason why, if everything is done in an agentic fashion, there's realistically no reason why programming languages that we know today, right, your general purpose programming languages, I don't think it needs to exist. And we're certainly a while away from that being the standard, only because there's hundreds of millions of lines of code out there that would have to be refactored in this way, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to take long, but it's also not going to happen overnight. But yeah, to your point, it's like there was a time where you wrote your own compiler and you wrote your own editor to run your application. Like now, like we don't do that. Like we don't do our own garbage collection. We don't write our own editors. Like we just open up VS Code or like whatever and start typing stuff in. So yeah, I mean things have changed over the years, but the key difference in this cycle is that like Google came out and you had Stack Overflow and people copy paste code and blah blah blah. But like the difference is like in those situations, you still had to look at the thing and understand what was going on. Now, realistically, you don't. You should, but you don't have to. Like you can take anybody, right? Can go and prompt Claude to say, write me an application that does this, this, and this. Like, I don't know if it's going to work or if it's going to be secure or like if it's scalable.
But if it's
like
for like local for themselves, like that's easy. Like my friend does, they make teeth for a living, and he's like, I just need to manage, this and I don't know, just here, turn on Claw, and build it. And he's like, oh wow, this is exactly what I wanted, and it saves me 2 hours a day.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So it's, and I think like all that goes to say, I think that's where there's so much pushback in the industry is like people's identities. You know what I mean? Like how people identify themselves and how people see themselves. Like this is a technical change, obviously, but like implementing AI and doing things this way, like this is far more of like a psychological change. Like these are things not happening at the technical level. Like these are things happening at the cognitive science level. Like this is all brain differences, right? These are all
it's
things that
how
are
you function
changing.
on a daily basis is different. It's changing faster and faster. And then even with that, like, are you or how do you see you using LLMs?
Right.
Like the frontier LLMs, right? Claude, Chat. Or are you going to bring that stuff local? Like I'm bringing a lot of my stuff local. I don't want to send data there. Like I got a Mac Studio ordered up, like, because it's going to run whatever local model, Kimi 2, or whoever copies who from China and gives it to me. I'll probably use it. To be honest, that's what's happening, right?
Yeah. It's true.
But as we evolve, it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's going to run on our little phones, right?
Yeah.
Maybe,
totally.
Hopefully, put a chip in me, Neuralink, put one in you.
Right. I want one. I'm down. I'm ready.
I'll sign up right away for Neuralink.
Oh, 100%. Dude, you see the guy playing Call of Duty with it?
Oh, he's probably good. Just headshots every time.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I need to get better at I need to up my Call of Duty game a little bit. I think what's happening right now in the industry is things are moving at such a rapid speed that we haven't seen before. And I know like people say that with every technological innovation, but I truly believe that this cycle is different. Like we've had various cycles, various new technologies and platforms and stuff, but there's always been a general sense of how fast things move and how they're implemented and how it works. The whole AI thing, I mean, this is new. This is not.
I think the last 3 months has been just wild. Like, put OpenClaw aside, cool. They built a tool, but just because of that, now you have Claude allowing me to do remote work. Having Claude to have work tree functionalities. So then I can spin off 6 different branches on the same code train, let it go wild on it. And then connect it remotely so I can just go and walk outside and give me updates. What did you build? I don't know. I built this. Does it work? Sure, I tested it. Okay, go live.
I wonder what this is going to do to knowledge workers as a whole, because the knowledge worker gets their dopamine hit or satisfaction from solving problems. And are we still, what do you think? You think we're still solving problems?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we are. I think there's still lots of problems to solve.
It's just different. It's different problems.
Hopefully I'm solving them quicker, right?
Right.
It's a tool for me to solve things quicker, get the quantum, get whatever the next step is. I feel like I would probably never retire in my life because I love the tech so much and I love how it
Right.
moves. Like I
Right.
started consulting and making, bash scripts with CSV files to upgrade F5s. Now I have OpenClaw doing it. Like I've seen, the whole cycle of, infrastructure as code, Ansible, declarative, and it's continuing to move. I love it. But yeah, I think there's still lots of problems to solve. Like there's thousands of millions of problems to solve out there, right? We need to build data centers in space, man, to solve them. That's what we got to do, right?
Yeah,
Didn't I message you like a month ago? I'm like, yo, we should build data centers in space.
Yeah, we should.
And then
If
Elon announces that he's going to do it.
man,
Beat me to the punch.
If there are any investors out there, we are more than happy to chat with you about stuff putting data centers in space.
Yeah. I'm in it.
All right, everybody. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour here. I know Sebastian and I have a meeting to get to in 4 minutes, but yeah. Anything that you want to leave everybody with? We're doing this weekly, by the way, so we're going to be on 11 AM US Eastern every Friday.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, throw some comments, or we'll create a more structured or better structured on solving the problems, or even demoing things, showcasing things to you on what we're building, what we're seeing with our customers, and just our ideas where we're seeing the future go. And last thing, check out aihackathon.dev. I would love more submissions, more registrations. We have a Discord channel for all our open source projects. We have a Discord channel for everyone to connect to. Mike and I are on there a lot to talk about things.
Absolutely.
Other than that, just what do they say? Like and subscribe, or
like and subscribe,
right? And then check out Christian and Lynn's book. Awesome book. I actually gave that made all my students get it to read about AI agents because it has some core fundamental aspects of what an agent is, what a loop is, what are the problems we are going to see and what we are seeing in production environments, because it's easy to spin up an agent, but spinning up 10,000 agents, scaling it inside an enterprise, it takes time and effort to do that. Right.
Absolutely. Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week on Friday.
Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.